Hi guys, welcome back to Mary's Vegan Table. Today I have two ways to make bread pudding. This is going to be the easiest and fastest bread pudding you've ever made. It's dairy free and it's egg free. There's no egg substitutes in it at all. We're going to start off with 1.5 loaves of bread, and we're going to cut them up into cubes. Also, guys, be careful when you buy the bread. Make sure there isn't any milk in it or eggs in it. Sometimes it's like you gotta roll the dice sometimes when you just even buy bread. Also, make sure there's no casein in it. Casein is also from dairy. Okay, here we have coconut cream, 1 can of coconut cream, 1 can of coconut milk, and 1 can of vegan condensed milk. Actually, I usually use evaporated milk, but I didn't have any on hand, so the coconut milk did the job just fine. Also, the oat milk, not the oat milk, the condensed oat milk, you could also find that in coconut condensed as well. You can also make your own condensed milk in your own evaporated milk. Just need a little patience because it takes some time. That's little Miss Bonnie again, keeping herself busy with her squeaky toy. So she does it every time I make a video. It's like she's just keeping herself busy. So here I am gonna be very careful with how much nutmeg I add to the mix. That was about a teaspoon I added there. The cloves, just gonna add probably maybe half a teaspoon of cloves because cloves are pretty strong. Yeah, it's like a half a teaspoon. And then the cinnamon, I'll put a few dashes of the cinnamon in as well. This bread pudding is so good, guys. I can't wait for you to try it. And it's a little box of raisins that I have. We add some raisins. You can add as much raisins as you want, or you don't even have to put raisins in if you don't want to. Mix everything up well. Mix everything well. Also preheat your oven to 350 or 375, depending on how hot your oven gets. I turned mine up after a little while to 375. Now here we're gonna make the caramel. You have to be patient with this. Also be careful with it because it's sugar when it melts is extremely hot. Okay, I'm adding 2 cups of sugar to the frying pan. I like using the frying pan better than a pot because the sugar seems to melt a little quicker and a lot more evenly. It doesn't crystallize as much as it does in the pot. Also, you don't have to use the raw cane sugar. You can use organic sugar. Either one, they're both vegan. Please be extremely careful when pouring this sugar. This caramel, I can't even stress enough how hot it is. Yeah, we have to do it quickly but safely because that sugar will get hard pretty quick. So we want to get it in that pan and then get our bread pudding mix on top of it. Okay, we need a larger pan to put the bread pudding in because it needs to be in a water bath for the caramel on the bottom. The caramel needs to stay nice and melted. So don't fill it up too much and be careful when you're pouring it in that you don't get it in the bread pudding. Okay guys, now that the regular bread pudding is in the oven, we're going to start on our banana bread pudding. A chocolate walnut banana bread pudding. Here again, we're going to use another loaf and a half of bread. We're going to cut it up to little cubes. And we're going to do everything the same way we did with the first one. With the 3 different milks, vegan milks, the spices. But this time we're going to, instead of adding raisins, we're going to add a couple of handfuls of chocolate chips, vegan chocolate chips. And pre-cut up bananas. Okay, leave both the bread puddings in the oven to bake for an hour. The first 15 minutes in the oven, rotate the pans. Be careful when you're doing it because that water is extremely hot. This here is the bread pudding with the caramel on the bottom. And quite honestly, I should have flipped it a lot sooner out of the pan. When it came out the oven, I should have did it sooner. Most of the caramel wouldn't have stuck to the bottom of the pan. I normally make this in aluminum pans, and they come out great. But like I said, I think I just waited a little too long to flip it. But either way, it was still plenty of caramel left on the top of the bread pudding. It doesn't need any eggs or egg substitutes to hold it together. Not in this one right here, and not even in the banana one. And bananas are a natural binder anyway for baking. But just want you guys to see that it doesn't need any eggs or egg substitutes to hold this together. Now I know it looks underbaked on the bottom, but that's only because it was in the water bath. Um, it's once it cools, it's gonna firm up. Gotta wait till it cools off before you put the chocolate on. Please make sure it's completely cool before you add the chocolate onto this. Otherwise, it's gonna melt off. So yeah, that's it came off a little bit, like I said, because it stuck a little to the bottom, but it comes right off. Put it right back on. But it's cooked through. It's just a little pale because it was in the water bath. So that's about a cup of chocolate chunks. That they're vegan. They're completely dairy free. And that's the coconut oil. And I'm going to add to that about a teaspoon of the coconut oil. Keep stirring that chocolate. Don't just let it sit and melt because it'll get clumpy. And the oil is nice because it gives it a nice sheen. And the longer you let your bread pudding sit, the chocolate's gonna solidify more on top, so you'll get that nice crunchy top of the chocolate. Now, the nuts, you don't have to, because I know some people have allergies to them, so you don't have to add the nuts if you don't want. There was just something a little extra I wanted to put on top of it, and it tastes really good with them. It's it's still warm. You can see how it's still warm, how soft it is. But you could pop that in the fridge, and it'll solidify more. But it's nice to have some warm bread pudding too. Don't get me wrong. If you have some vegan ice cream, dairy-free ice cream, or dairy-free whip, it's very good. And here you have it, guys. You have 2 ways to make bread pudding. Fast and easy. It's a quick, really quick way to make a dessert. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you try the recipe. And if you do, if you like it, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, share my videos. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you all have an amazing holiday.